How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Black Metal Rebellion. I'm your host, Jesse Morgan, and this is going to be another episode of Nerd Corner. Now, this Nerd Corner episode is going to be my thoughts on what the upcoming The Batman film should be about. The director said it's going to be a kind of detective film noir version of Batman, and I think that'd be cool. We haven't actually really seen like a very detective-y type Batman movie yet, and considering Ra's al Ghul calls him detective, and he's supposed to be considered like the world's greatest detective and all that kind of shit, it would be cool to actually see him have to like sit down and put a bunch of pieces of shit together to actually stop a certain villain. So that would be really cool. Now, a few of the villains that I'd love to see in an upcoming Batman film would be Clayface. If you don't know who Clayface is, I don't know how to explain him to you. He's basically an actor who um, gets his special powers from this kind of irradiated or chemically imbalanced clay, which he uses to kind of like originally just kind of form different personas and characters by melding his face into different people. But then after a long exposure, he ended up becoming super afflicted by the chemical and by the exposure to it, and then his whole body just kind of started breaking down a bit and kind of becoming more clay-like and more monstrous. He can form different shapes and stuff like that. You can form like giant like uh, star hammer things. What do you call those things? Morning stars. Uh, Giant scissors, giant knives. He can turn into like this giant spiky cannonball and uh, roll over things like that giant boulder in Indiana Jones. But yeah, like I think he'd be a really cool character for Batman to face off against. He's never appeared in any of the Batman movies. You only really got to see him for what he really was in the Batman animated series in the early 90s. So that would be really cool to see. I don't know exactly how they could work that into like a mystery story, or whatever, or how noir that character could be, but I think it could be done justice. Um, I mean, I think it'd be really cool if they actually did the Riddler. Now, if they did it proper, not the Jim Carrey version, if they got someone um, a little bit more serious, I don't know. Johnny Depp could do it, but I don't know. I think they could probably find someone who could take the role a little bit more seriously, like the guy from How I Met Your Mother. Um, but hmm, Neil Patrick Harris, yeah, that's the guy. I think Neil Patrick Harris would make probably the perfect Joker. Just keep him serious, keep him creepy. Um, do what I said in that old Nerd Corner video where it makes it so it's like he's sort of like the Jigsaw character from the Saw series, where he's got a whole bunch of Batman's friends or loved ones trapped in these elaborate kind of devices that are slowly closing in on them to kill them or whatever, and they all have to solve the puzzle. So it's a very detective-like film. But you could also do, shit like Jason Todd right there, like that, and do maybe like a Red Hood story where Batman has to figure out who's going around and killing all these villains. Um, Reference here to Screen Junkies News. They kind of talked about that too, and they also said that Azrael would be cool. I think throw them both in. That'd be sweet. Have Azrael and Red Hood trying to like clean up the villains, but in a very like assassinative Punisher type way, and have Batman have to figure out who are these people who are killing all these villains. Maybe even have Batman have to save some villains in the series from these people. That would be different. Batman having to save villains from getting killed off by good guys. Uh, that would be pretty sweet. It would also tie in maybe that Jason Todd suit from the Batman versus Superman movie. I think having Azrael in a film would be sick as fucking hell, for sure. Maybe even throw in Black Mask, like the um, Batman Arkham Origins game. I like the way they kind of utilized him in there, except for the secret reveal that he was actually someone else. I'm not going to spoiler it for anyone who hasn't played that game yet. I still have yet to even get close to really doing stuff in it. I've only played about a half an hour of that game, but yeah, it's really good so far. Um, Man, there's just so many cool things that could be potentially done in this upcoming Batman movie that I'm dying from anticipation. I cannot wait to hear anything else related to this movie. Super stoked to see the Justice League movie in November of this year, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's when it's supposed to be releasing. Oh, and it's really cool to hear that Wonder Woman broke the box office for #1 DC animated or DC universe film. So that's neat. Hooray for Wonder Woman doing that. Hopefully, we'll drive more people to go see DC films in the future. Um, yeah, I don't know. Those are my kind of few picks. The Riddler, Clayface, Jason Todd as the Red Hood, Azrael would be fucking cool as hell to see. Um, Black Mask would be neat. I don't know who else really would be cool. Oh, right. And Copperhead. I don't know if any of you guys know who Copperhead is. The new one I'm not a really big fan of. It's just like female version of Copperhead who kind of just reminds me of the cheetah from the Wonder Woman series. Like, I don't know why they did that. Maybe to diversify the characters or add more female characters, whatever. But I like the original Copperhead. The dude with like that huge, ridiculous snake costume. You saw him a lot in the Justice League animated series. I think you may have seen him once or twice in the Superman animated series. I'm not sure, but he was definitely in the Justice League animated series. I definitely want that Copperhead in there, or even make it like an in between of the new female Copperhead and the old male Copperhead character. I think that would be a good villain to have in there. Obviously, not as the main villain, but the one of the characters that he has to go up against, just momentarily. Maybe have like him pop up in the beginning of the film once or twice, and then mid or like a quarter of the way through the film, Batman defeats him, and he ends up maybe getting the information off of Copperhead that, oh, there's this other vigilante in Gotham taking out bad guys, and that's how the story begins, and maybe that's how it launches. Finding out that Azrael is in town, or finding out that fucking Jason Todd is in town. But yeah, really looking forward to the Batman. Really looking forward to this detective or noir Batman take on it. What are your thoughts on this? Who would you like to see in the new Batman film coming up? What villains? Maybe what supporting characters or supporting superheroes? Maybe Nightwing makes an appearance from Bloodhaven. Maybe fucking the Creeper shows up. That'd be cool. Um, Maybe Batgirl shows up. Um, yeah, let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are on this whole new kind of noir-esque detective version of a Batman film. Let me know what characters you'd like to see in it, and maybe storyline. I know Screen Junkies News were throwing around maybe do the Hush kind of storyline, but I remember reading it. It was okay, but it wasn't that great, if from what I remember. I don't know. I would like to read that story again, though. Thanks for watching. This has been another Nerd Corner. For glory, for the rebellion, Slimer out.